Streaming. There we go. Hi everybody, and welcome to the latest video slash live stream. I thought I'd pop on. Hi John, how are you? Thanks for popping in. I thought I'd pop on. We were thinking about whether to do like a working hangout today, but they end up being like a big chunk out of our Sunday, so we kind of decided against it. So instead I thought I'd pop on for like a shorter stream. Money Mental UK, hi, how are you? Thanks for popping in. And I thought I'd discuss a couple of little things. Stephen Bennett, hi, how are you? So I thought I'd come on and like do a bit of shipping, because I had some items to ship, so I thought I'd do a little shipping stream. And while I was getting my shipping ready, an idea occurred to me, because I was looking at my items. Not a massive amount of items. I think we have got only 10 orders. Sales have been a bit flaky. 10 orders totaling 200 quid, and that is all the way from whatever was left on the 23rd, which was yesterday. So those are Saturdays, and no 22nd as well. So yeah, so 22nd, which is Friday. So some sales from Friday, and then all of Saturday. We've had nothing so far today. So we've got 10 sales to package from basically whatever I didn't ship on Friday, and then Saturday. So Richard Payne has joined in as well. Hi Richard. Richard Hale has joined in as well. Richard Payne says, hi, testing electrical, so we'll be in and out of the chat. No worries Richard, thanks for popping in. Laura, hi Laura, thanks for popping in. BCP as well. Yeah, so I got we've got 10 items to ship, so I thought I'd do like a little shipping stream. And while I was getting the shipping out, I started to notice like a little theme. Out of the 10 items that I've got to ship, and I've got them all out, so I'm not going to be fumbling through boxes of stock for hours and hours looking for them, so this should be quite a succinct stream compared to our normal streams, because I've gotten everything ready. It's all here basically, so I'm just going to be shipping it slowly and chatting to you guys in the chat. But like I said, while I was doing it, out of the 10 items that sold, 4 of those were actually multi-quantity orders now, and that's why I've titled this stream, as you can see, our eBay, or I've asked a question, and you guys can obviously answer it yourselves and tell me what you think. But do you think eBay are favoring now sellers with multi-quantity and listings and replenishable listings? Now, I'm not saying by favoring that you're going to get more sales, because we've not had a massive sales weekend or anything. Like I said, we've sold absolutely nothing so far today. We've had some sales on Friday, some on Saturday, and it's just that every time I log into eBay, I see like a little sign saying, you know, get better payday this weekend, or get more money, you know, get more sales by doing multi-quantity. They're very heavily promoting this stuff, and unless you've got the right kind of inventory, then you're not going to be able to benefit from that. BCP said hi. Steve Stockham says hi Young Z. Pete's Retro Collectible says hi, Zahir, picking and listing this afternoon. I am. Fantastic, Pete. Pete also says hi to the chat. Beck has popped in to say hi as well. Thank you, Beck. So, you know, I will show you guys what we've sold. So it's going to be RC parts. Guess what? It's all RC parts, 100% of it. But like I said, there's a good number. 4 out of the 10. 4 out of the 10 parcels that I'm shipping, like, are multi-quantity, and it's good for me as a seller, because suddenly smaller sale items. So for example, some guy bought 3 of these. Now, perhaps before they would have just bought 1, and I'm selling these for like a £5 each or something. So rather than it being a £5 sale, it's like a £15 sale, and obviously that adds up. Again, you know, he bought 2, so again, say if they're a £5 each, I don't know, there might be a bit more, there might be a bit less. I can actually check for you guys. So these 2 speed main shafts, yeah, okay, these both sold for £10.78, so I guess they were like a £5 each. These shock shafts, okay, that was a £16 sale, so again, might have been about £6 each, and a bit of discount after the multi-quantity. Alf, really? The dog obviously has to start barking when I go live. It's just the way it is. Jaden says, you mean is the search engine favouring? And Pete says they've always favoured them. It's set up for corporate sellers now. Yeah, I mean, I do mean a combination, Jay Dennis. Like, you know, do you think eBay search engine will push sellers that have got replenishable stock and multi-quantities up? And Pete's Retro Collectibles believes it's been set up for corporate sellers for ages now. Shop Window says, "A up, dudes and dudettes." Jay Dennis says, "Learning the search engine will double your sales overnight." And, you know, I'm pretty sure you've got something there. I think knowing what sells or what eBay prefers is important. But the thing is, what I'm getting at as well with this is, maybe it's an opportunity that if you're out there and you're selling and you're buying, you know, you're buying one-off items, maybe it's time to look for different kinds of stock that you can get, like replenishable from, you know, replenishable stock. So maybe start looking out for those opportunities, because they are out there, and you don't have to be tied in with wholesalers or whatever. You can go to car boots, and sometimes you will see people there at a car boot with a bulk of a particular item. Maybe they bought something to sell and they weren't able to shift it, but you think you might be able to shift it through different channels. It may be worth looking at, just because I think if eBay are like that, and obviously Amazon are like that, it makes sense to kind of play their game, because we always often say that when you sell on eBay, you're playing in their sandpit or whatever. So why not actually play in their sandpit and do, you know, follow what their lead is, and or at least try, you know, add an element of it at least. So if you sell mostly one-off items, could be worth looking at, because guys, if 4 out of 10, that's 40% items of our sales this weekend have been multi-quantity. And as a seller, I'm not complaining, because like I said, it's taken what would have been a £5 sale to like a £15 sale. These things don't weigh anymore. It's not increasing my shipping costs. It's still going to cost me the same. Alf, get down, come here. Sorry about this, guys. He's frustrating. You know, and it takes like a £5 sale to a £15 sale. It's not going to increase the weight of my parcel. It's still going to go as a large letter. Increases my sales. And also, by the nature of me being able to do multi-quantity, it also means I've obviously got multi-listing. Like, you know, I've got more than one quantity, which then means overall my workload is reduced, because for all of these items that I've sold, I think, yeah, for all of these multi-quantity items I've sold, my listing is still active because I've still got stock left. So even though I've sold three of this part, I've actually still got 3 of these left. So I'm not having to do any more work either. So, you know, like, even though these have sold, I'm now not having to replenish I'm not having to think, okay, straight away I've got to replace that, because I did the work, I had the quantity. You know, I've used the tools available from eBay, where they've, you know, I do that thing where if you buy a certain amount, you know, you'll get a certain discount, you know, and that's obviously helped. I mean, I'll give you an example for those of you that haven't seen how this works, because it is worth looking at, guys. Let me just see if I can find the browser. Let me just quickly switch it over for you guys. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, so this is actually these three that have sold are actually from this listing, and as you can see, I'm selling them for £6.49 a piece. They're basically shock shafts. Shock shafts are the shafts that go inside a shock absorber on an RC car. So someone's rebuilding their shock absorber, and they're rebuilding the shock absorber, and it's like they need this part. So I'm charging £6.50. Now, as you can see, it says in total I've sold 5, so I'm guessing that includes the 3 that I've sold here, and I've got 3 available. But as you can see, if you've got multi-buy enabled, you can actually give a discount for the more people purchase. So these guys come to my listing, and before this multi-quantity, before this multi-buy discount was there, I've sold 2 singles at £6.49 each, which is fine. But this one here, you know, the guy obviously came after I, you know, enabled multi-buy, and he thought, okay, £6.49 each. or if I buy 3, I'll get them for $5.52, and I'm probably going to need them. I can have some as spare, and suddenly, instead of me getting a £6.49 sale, I've gotten like a triple, £15 sale, which is really good. Obviously, it's not triple because there's a discount there, but you get what I'm saying. It's a really good feature, and plus because it's multi-quantity, my listing's still active. I'm not having to rush out, and I'm not having to rush out and then like get myself a replacement listing. It's like a win-win. And it may not be what you're doing right now, but it's got to be worth looking at, especially if it seems like eBay are advertising this stuff quite a lot. Worth looking at. Monumental says markets often have sellers with big quantity of items as well. Very true. Indoor and outdoor markets. Very true. Sometimes what will happen, there'll be traders there that will have bought a bunch of stuff, and they just might have bought it with the good intention of selling, and like you and I, maybe they're just not into the stock as much, or they just couldn't be bothered and they just want to shift it, and you can take advantage of it. Jay Dennis says you have to think of Cassini as a point system. Listing is a point, picture is a point, item specific, etc, etc. So 12 picks give you a better standing than 1 pick. So using their selling features again pushes you higher than the rest. Very true, Jay Dennis. Get down, Shep. Peach Retro Collectible says questions are here. I bought an RC helicopter at auction yesterday for £15. It's lightly used. Should I do better pieing it out? It really depends on what kind of RC helicopter it is. Pete's Retro Collectibles. As Shane has said, depends if it's hobby grade. Yeah, so it really does depend, because you're gonna have to see whether it is gonna be worth just flipping it and getting some cash in. But sometimes you can make a lot more money by pieing things out. For example, if it's got a good if it's flybarless and it's got a flybarless receiver, they can be worth good money. What transmitter receiver has it got? What's the motor and the ESC like? What brand of the servos can be good money on helicopters, depending again what grade they are. DBG has popped in and says more lives, yay, more tea. And BCP says Sunday swipe bonus. Well, I like to, the production values, you gotta have a little bit of swipage, surely. Alright, just going down the chat. Jay Dennis, the problem is the corporate sellers have eBay reps helping them do all that, so they have all the points possible, says Pete's Retro Collectibles. I mean, I'm sure you're right, Pete, that corporate sellers will have more support. Obviously, if you're a massive company, you're going to get more support. So like if you're like, I don't know, Hasbro or something, and you say to eBay, look, eBay, we're going to list our stuff onto your website, like they did with, I think there was a Magic the Gathering card box set, which they did like an eBay sale exclusive on eBay launch, and it was a bit of a debacle in the end. But of course they're going to help corporate sellers that are going to be good for their business more, but that doesn't mean that you can't still do your own little version. I mean, as one-man bands, most of us are excluded from most wholesale anyway. You can't just go into a good wholesaler and buy stock. They won't sell to you because they'll be like, oh, you don't have a shop, you don't have a website, you're just a one-man band. We can't just sell to any Tom, Dick and Harry that walks in off the street. Buy. So you're not going to have access to that stuff. I don't have access to that stuff. So you kind of adapt to the situation. So what you do is you think, okay, I can't get hold of this multi-quantity, I can't find these amazing multi-quantity orders, because obviously otherwise we'd all go out and buy 10 iPods or 10 iPads or 10 whatever and just sell them really quick if we could buy them at wholesale and make a nice little profit. But we can't, we just don't have access to that. Apple won't resell to you and I, they'll only resell to authorized sellers, and to be an authorized seller you probably have to have like a massive high street presence. You probably have to have trained staff and this, that, the other, don't you? So you have to just adapt it for your one-man band situation. So for example, the multi-quantity stock I'm dealing with stock that big companies can't be bothered with. The stock I'm getting is basically people saying, you know what, our time is simply too valuable. It's simply too valuable to be dealing with this crap. That's what this was. When we got all of this RC stuff that's now making us so much good money for so much time, the company that had this stock, their time was so valuable you know, their resources and their manpower that was so valuable to them that for them it was better to basically sell this to me dirt cheap in bulk, and they just pocket the money, move on to whatever they're doing next, than go through and hire someone to sit down and list thousands of little packets. Whereas I'm, you know, me and Beck, well, obviously Beck is now less time rich because she's at work pretty much all the time, but as a couple, we at the time were time rich, and we had the time to sit down and really graft and put up a lot of listings, a lot of photos, a lot of item specifics. It takes work, guys, you know, putting these things in the right categories, etc. And we had that time, so we could take advantage of it. But the company we bought it off could have made this money. But you know, you just have to kind of adapt it to yourself and find stuff that's maybe end of line, liquidation. You know, find stuff that's that is replenishable and make it attractive. A great example was at the same time as I bought this, I bought a bunch of Iron Man toys, like chest, you know, toys that attach to your t-shirt, and you press the button and you can pretend to be Iron Man. It was out of stock. It was end of line Iron Man 2 stuff, like Iron Man 2 movie stuff. Yeah, I was still able to make good money on it, selling on both eBay and on Amazon. So you have to just access and buy the, you know, we buy the crumbs. We're like the scavengers, as it were. So you buy the crumbs off the table. But it depends on what kind of crumbs. Buy replenishable crumbs. You know, buy crumbs that mean that you do the work once, and it allows you to take. You know, it allows you to kind of get some benefit. If you're just buying one-off items, you can't use good till cancelled listings. Okay, that's one thing you can't use. You can't use the out of stock function. Well, you can, but it's pointless because you don't know when you're next going to find the item. So say if you go to a car boot sale and you find one of these gears, right, and you go home and you list it and you sell it, and now you've got a sales history, but then you're out of stock, you don't know how you're going to get more, so you can't really use that function. You're better off just listing on a 10-day listing or 30-day listing and replenish. So you know, it's just something to kind of think about. And you know, like if you buy in these multiples, you can actually take advantage of good till cancelled. You can take advantage of the out of stock function. You can take advantage of multi-buy, as I've just demonstrated, and you'll benefit from not having to constantly just replenish stuff. So just something to bear in mind. Okay, let me just go back into the chat, guys. Death by Glamour says, trying all morning to get my printer to work. Even watched an instruction video in German. I was like a monkey trying to follow hand signals, says DVG. Well, I hope you've gotten it to work after all that, because that sounds pretty stressful. And Jay Dennis says, Pete, you can just do the same. I used to teach dealers how to sell on eBay, and there are a ton of learning stuff out there to use and to learn, says Jay Dennis. Okay, here's one. A good till cancel listing that's better than 10-day if done correct. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a massive fan of good till cancelled. I use good till cancelled, Jay Dennis, and I use the out of stock function. And the benefit of that is, if I run out of something that I know that I've got that is replenishable, I still get the sales history. And then when I get more in, I can replenish the listing. So I don't have to relist the item. I don't have to take new photos. It's so much better than just doing, you know, for me, it's so much better than doing 10 or 30-day listings where I have to, you know, keep on relisting. It's taken that headache off. But also it means that, you know, it's replenishable. It's more efficient. And Shane says, I have access to some wholesalers for my cycling gear, however the margins are horrible. I do better reselling sale items listed on Wiggle, says Shane. And Money Mental says, how many times did you walk around the house asking people to press your buttons here? Says, why do you think someone's pressed my button? I'm not sure what you mean. But I don't know what you mean by that. No one's pressed my button. I was just going to do a simple packaging video, but it just became apparent. You know, when you're like, I was getting all my packaging ready, and then in front of me I had one pile of arm shafts the guy bought 2 of, then I had some shock shafts another guy bought 3 of, then I had some two speed shafts the guy bought two of, and then I had some dog bones that a guy bought two of, and it was one of those things that just slapped me in the face. I was like, wait a second here, this looks interesting. So you've got 10 sales and 4 of them are multi-quantity, so that just got the old cogs turning, the old grey matter whirring, and I thought I'd come on and talk to you guys about it. Definitely feel it's a good thing. We use loads of good till GTD, good till cancelled. I'm guessing you mean for single items, says Jay Dennis. Yeah, good till cancelled with the out of stock function is fantastic. Nope, I have not gotten it to work, says DBG. So you've not gotten your printer to work. I'm going to drop kick it over the back wall, I think. I'm not sure that's going to help you, actually, DBG. You may want to just look for some instructions in a language that you're more like have a better understanding in, and then go from there rather than just do that, I think, DBG. Mel has popped in. Hi Mel, Sparrow's End. Hi, how are you? I switched RA mugs, bought from ordinary retail store but discounted. There's a great example there, guys. You don't have to be, connected, or because I know sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a guy that I can do this, or I've got a guy that I can buy this from. It doesn't need to be. You can just go into a normal store and spot an opportunity, as Mel has just shown there. Retail arbitrage mugs over to multi-buy and sold 4 to 1 person. Love it. Great example. So 4 to 1 person, that is so much better, much less work, and plus if you've got more than 4, you've still got that listing active, you've still got the stock there, you're not having to redo the work. I mean, the benefits are just surely they just scream out that if you're not doing this, guys, if you're not doing this, I suggest, very humbly suggest, look into it. Don't pigeonhole yourself completely, says the guy that sells pretty much just RC, but RC is a big category. Whatever you're into, think about it. Like, even if it's clothes, buy them in bulk if you can. Look at people that are doing really well in clothing. They're not just selling just one-off items. The people that are doing really well in clothing are selling what's on trend, and they have more than one. Like, people are saying like animal prints are on trend at the moment, so I've heard, and I've seen Nike Air Max in the shop with leopard print on them, and I'm pretty sure I saw fake Rachel mention something about leopard print as well on Instagram. And she's a good barometer for what's on trend. I'm sure there are other Instagrammers out there as well. But yeah, for me, I do feel that if you've got leopard print clothing, is it good to just have that one item that you've thrifted, or if you can somehow buy discounted or in bulk, and you've suddenly got 20 leopard print jumpers, you're going to do better when it's in fashion. So I just think it's one of those things to look into. Money Mental says on the Iron Man stuff. The pressing the button. Yeah. No, I didn't actually go around the house asking people to do that. Jay Dennis says, do you modify the good till cancelled, as Cassini sees that as a plus and then promotes listing better than relisting every 10 days, says Jay Dennis. On some occasions, Jay Dennis, I have actually in the past, say if I've got a multiple of an item, but they've got slight differences in them. So I'll give you a good example, actually, guys. I'll give you another example. Wait for another swipe, guys. It's coming, so just be patient. Let me just show you that another swipe is coming. That's a really good question, actually, or a really good comment, Jay Dennis. Let me just find this out for you guys. I hate it when I'm not as organized as I should be, guys, and I do apologize for that. Let me just quickly find these items, or this item that I want to share with you guys. Just in reference to Jay Dennis talking about modifying good till cancelled listings, and yes, you can do that, and I think it's such a great thing to be able to take advantage of. Now I have got a great example. Let me just switch over. Right, so here is an RC car that I've got multiple of. Right, now I've sold this car in various conditions. It says I've sold 3 there. Right, now one of them I sold with electrics, and I think I sold it for like 140 quid. Then I had one which I changed. I removed some electrics, and I was able to adjust the listing, adjust the title. I changed the condition, and because I think the one I sold fully working, I was sold a seller refurbished because I made it all mint and ready to go. And then I thought, you know what, actually I'm going to be better off just selling it as a rolling chassis for various reasons I won't go into. But then I was able to adjust the condition, I was able to adjust the title, and I sold it again at a different price, and again it counts it as 3. So the last person, so basically it doesn't matter what the previous ones were, and this one again that's currently listed is different from the one I sold previous, has a different body shell. So all I had to do was change some photos, left everything else the same, change the photos to match the current item, and when it sells, the customer's going to get exactly what they see in the photos, which is obviously a really good thing. You want them to always get what they see in the photos, so they're going to get that. And everything else is the same. So again, I've reduced the work I have to do. I'm still benefiting from the sales history. It's win-win, guys. I only list one of these at a time because of the nature of the item. I don't just put all 5 of them up because, like I said, they are very, or I think I've got 5 left, but I don't want to list them all together because they're all got different conditions. You know, this one, for example, the reason why I wanted to take photos of this one is this one had a very used chassis, and it had a warped body shell. So the body shell was warped, so I mentioned that. And if you look at the bottom of the chassis, it was very used, a lot of scuffing, whereas some of the other ones I've got are like brand new, they're like mint. So it would be very silly of me to not reflect that in my pricing, etc., when I list the better condition ones and whatnot. So, you know, that's just something that it's worth mentioning again and talking about. Alright, I've got some printers for sale if you want a new one. DBG says Money Mental, and Shane says arm shafts, FNAF, and Darren comes in with Z, the Shaft King. DBG says Shaft. Oh gosh, a lot of shaft talk. Shaft talk is some RC+ do have funny names, right? A shaft is just a funny word, isn't it? It's become a funny word. Jay Denny says 10k on the bay recently was talking about it. Forgot his new name. You mean something lifestyle? Oh gosh, oh god, I can't remember his name either. I know who you mean. 10k on the bay, and he's changed his name to something else. What's he changed his name to, guys? Honestly, he's a great guy to watch. He doesn't make as much content as he used to because obviously Daily Refinement, that's his name. His name's Daily Refinement. Definitely worth checking out Daily Refinement. Right, so Darren's popped in with his shaft comment. I appreciate it, Darren. Money Mental says there's a lot of clothing wholesalers in Manchester that will sell to private individuals. Yeah, I mean, if you can get a good deal, if you can strike up a good deal, you know, getting multi quantities, and obviously you have to know what you're buying. I don't know closer. I'd be very scared to buy 30 of one item because my nightmare would be to buy 30 of it and then it not sell, especially if it costs a lot of money. But there we go. Shane says I didn't realize there was an out of stock option. When I list multiple quantity items as good till cancelled, they just continue forever even when stock runs out, says Shane. No, an out of stock option is quite good because what it does is when you list multiple quantity items as good as cancelled, they continue forever. They shouldn't continue forever. An out of stock option will basically remove the item from visibility, and it will keep it. However, it removes it from visibility so people can't see it, but what happens is it keeps the listing active and your sales history safe for 3 months. It gives you like a 3-month, you know, like a 3-month extension to get hold of more of what you've sold. That's what it does, and it works really well. DBG says, Z, you could have seen my American Apparel store clearance on Insta, except you don't follow me. I don't follow you, really? You know what? I'm so terrible. That is my job today. I'm going to put that on my Google Calendar as a task to remember to follow DBG. I'm going to find, is your name DBG on Insta? If it's not, I'm sure Beck must follow you, and I'll ask her. So there we go. They'll all be listed on multi-quantity with variations. Yeah, fantastic, DBG. And obviously, you know, the multi-quantity discount hopefully will help. Steve Green says, hey Z, I'm running around a soft play. I'm so unfit. A soft play sounds fun. Right. So, and then Money Mental says, Steve, is this the part of your training for your rematch with Carla? Oh, the arm wrestling. There we go. Hey Presto, your listing has a selling rate of 3 sold, and Cassini says you're brilliant and promotes you, says Jay Dennis. Yeah, very true, Jay Dennis. So I love the out of stock option. And another benefit, by the way, of the out of stock option, right, is this is quite good. I don't know how useful this is, but if you're someone that's concerned about, for example, sharing what you're selling, like either on social media or something, and you're a bit concerned about sharing, and especially if you're buying in bulk, you obviously have to be a bit more careful, right? You don't want to like say, oh, I bought 100 of these from this place, and then a bunch of other people buy 100 from them from the same place. You obviously don't want that to happen, right? I don't mind sharing because I'm like, where are you going to get these from? And if you do, good luck to you. I don't really care, to be honest. It never bothers me. But if it does bother you, one other side benefit of out of stock is your listing will not appear in solds. So if your competition out there is like, what's so and so selling, and what are they making good money from their multi quantities, unless they, I mean, that's the thing, they can still find out. They can just go to your store and see what you're actively selling. But if someone's just searching sold listings, your listing will not show as sold until you've ended it, and even then it probably won't show. It won't show up in the solds if you use the out of stock option. So that's another benefit of the out of stock option. Money Mental says, I went trampolining the other day, never been so knackered in all my life. So, there's a trampoline place near me in Preston. I've thought about taking the kids and going to it. It's one of those where you got trampolines on the floor and the walls and people just jump around, but I'm just worried. You know, Beck told me a really scary story about someone, I don't know where she saw this or read this, but apparently someone had like their 2-year-old sat on the trampoline side. Dad goes and just belly flops for a laugh on the trampoline next to the baby. Baby goes flying into the air. Mum luckily catches him, or her. I don't know if the baby was male or female, but yeah, that kind of worried me a little bit. I thought, wow, that's pretty, dangerous. And Money Mental says, I use out of stock on my XLS medical stuff. It works well because I still get above market price when I relist, because you've got that. Yeah, because you've got that sales history, Money Mental. BCP says, at Darren, my friend used to, at Smart Reselling, my friend used to sell playground equipment. Sales were random, but I suppose that's just swings and roundabouts. Fantastic, BCP, fantastic. Shane says, thanks Zahir Strange. If have an item that I keep replenishing and it keeps the quantity sold, so far 98, maybe the out of stock options is always set on. It wasn't on for me. It wasn't on for me by default. That wasn't on for me by default. So maybe yours was on by default somehow, but mine, I had to turn on the out of stock option, which you do in site preferences. Okay guys, I'm gonna start doing a bit of shipping now that we've talked about the topic, because I wanted to talk about the topic because obviously if someone clicks onto the video, I want to make sure that at least they get a semblance of the topic. I'm genuinely confused, says Shane. Approximately 40 of my items are frequently restocked when they run out, and they keep the number of items sold displayed. Could it be that the out of stock option is always set on? Shane, yes, that's because it's not ended if it keeps the same listing number. Always like turning on, says Money Mental. And Dave has popped in as well. Hi Dave. Alright, I'm gonna get some shipping done. Oh, in other news, I was really pleased to sell this for $4.99 with free shipping, guys. Why would I be happy to sell something on eBay for $4.99 with free shipping? How much am I going to make? What, £2 maybe? I don't know what I'll make. Well, firstly, you got to take eBay fees, PayPal fees, shipping 79p as well. But I sold it for $4.99. Firstly, now that I've sold one, I'm going to be able to raise the price of this item if I want to. This is some fiberglass tape. Secondly, I've now got my first sale, so my sales history started. Thirdly, I've got 101 of these in stock. So multi-quantity discount is available. So if anyone needs any fiberglass tape, but very happy with that sale. Didn't cost me anything either. It was like a freebie. When I went to do a pickup, it was another box that wasn't mentioned and I got it. So I was like really happy that sold. I never thought I'd be that excited about a £5 sale, but there we go. Alright, I'm gonna get some shipping sorted out, and then I will be calling it a night on the stream. Hope you guys have found it useful. If you have found it useful, please let me know. I'm trying to make these videos as more dated as possible. Is that tape dated? Tape over 10 years doesn't stick very well, says Dave. It's 3M tape, it's fiberglass. I'm pretty sure it's going to be just fine. I don't think it's got a date on it anywhere. Yeah, I don't think it's got a date on it, but I'm sure it'll be happy. Always handy to have a reel of fiberglass tape in the drawer, says Peter Cummins. Yes, I'm guessing it would be. So let me have a look. Let me start doing these. Carzone dog bones. Get this sorted out. But I hope you found the topic useful, guys. Like I said, I'm not saying change what you do. But maybe start looking at these things, start adding a few multi quantities if you already haven't, you know, because clearly eBay want this, and it does. I think it does pay to do it, because it just means overall you're going to be that much more efficient. I think efficiency is really the thing that matters. I have artist tape on multi-quantity for $9.49 for 2, but it cost me 20 pence a roll, says Peace Retro Collectibles. Exactly, those are the kinds of listings that I would love to have a shop full of. I would love to have like 10,000 listings of multi-quantity stock that I barely have to worry about replenishing. You know, that for me is the dream. Okay, let me just switch these scales on. Don't tell me my scales aren't working. Damn you, scales. No? Maybe the battery's dead on my scales, that sucks. Really need them as well. Battery on my scales is gone, guys. What timing, eh? I'm not sure if that's over 100 or not. It feels like it should be. I think it's probably over 100. I'm not going to take the risk. It's a big heavy gear, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to take the risk and put it in over 100 grams just to, you know, just to cover myself. I don't want to kind of cause myself any unnecessary hassle. Not been in chat for ages, says Shane. Definitely a useful topic. Thanks, Z. I'm glad you found it useful, Shane. I mean, it's just, you know, like it's always cool when things become clear to you. You know, like when you. I was, like I said, I was just gonna do a standard shipping stream, and you know, it ended up being quite a good topic, I think, because, you know, came in handy. All right, small parcel, that one. The shipping won't take me long though, guys, because it's really easy. There's not much to do. Okay. I'm taking the Sparrow's End approach to sourcing now, says Money Mental, aiming for at least £10 profit on every item, and it's making a difference. Yeah, I mean, when you're out there sourcing for, I think especially if you're sourcing one-off items, again, that's a really good point, Money Mental. When you're yeah, under 100 grams, 79p I prefer, but this gear, I don't know if I've got any more flat batteries. I think this gear's over 100. It's quite heavy. It's a big heavy gear. But yeah, Money Mental, I think Mel's approach is fantastic. You know, I think it was really it really, again, it's about adapting these approaches. You can't shoehorn them into what you're doing, and the reason I say that is, like, if you're buying individual items, then 100% you should be looking to have some kind of a floor, a minimum floor of profit. The only reason I'm willing to sell things for like £5 and stuff like that is because of the items that I've got, right? I wouldn't, you know, would I have bought, if I'd gone to the charity shop and this tape was in a packet for 20p, for example, just like Pete's Retro Collectible, he paid 20 pence a roll. Right now he's got multi-quantity as well. Now imagine if I've shown you this and you know, wow, you can get this for 20p and you can sell it for £5. Would you bother picking that up if there was just one? Would you bother buying it for 20p, taking it home, photographing it, listing it, describing it, and then selling it for a £5 from 20? Would you really bother doing that? I personally wouldn't, and the reason is it would be all that work for one listing and for one small amount of profit. If you're going to have one listing that is, once it's sold, the work's gone, and you're going to have to redo the work the next time, you're going to have to replenish your store, then you've got to have a minimum profit that you'll take. The only reason I'm willing to sell this for £5 is, like I said, I've still got 100 of these in stock, 100 of them in stock. So I don't mind. The work is done once, my listing is still active, I'm not having to relist, rephotograph, redescribe. All I'm going to be doing is shipping them out in an envelope, and it's going to be a job done, right? So that's why I'm selling it for a £5. However, if I was in a situation where I was buying a single item, a one-off item, which we still do, I need it to have good profit. You need it to have good profit. You can't allow yourself to buy items and then just like one-off items with very small profit margins, because if you do, you're just wasting your time, because there's a lot of work involved. And we've not even mentioned that if you buy an item that's cheap like that and then you get a return on it, then all that effort and everything is just gone straight down the loo, hasn't it? So I would definitely say that. Dave says at Money Mental, that was Ad's approach, and I think then Nick's approach. What was that? Oh, £10 of profit on every item. Yeah, I mean, £10 profit I think on every item is definitely worth pursuing if you're selling single items, 100%. The business model that we're following at the moment is more to do with adapting to what the majority of our stock is. So Beck and I price things according to, we've got quantities of these things, so we have to be careful. A roll of Edam, says BCP. Yeah, the brand is Edam RC. They're like quite an old brand of RC. I don't think they're even popular now, but they do make some. They make some really fast nitro 8th scale cars. DBG says, I don't mind selling lowball items. For me, as a newbie, I want to build my store, feedback, sales numbers. For now, I'm fine with it. Exactly, again, adapting to your situation. If you're a small seller on eBay, you don't have a lot of feedback, you don't have that you don't have that situation where someone's going to come to your store and see a big established store with lots of feedback, etc. Then of course it makes sense to sell whatever it is you can. It doesn't matter. Some people will have sold things at a loss in order to just quickly build feedback. So there we go. Jay Dennis says, we refer to people who are busy full selling items for £1 or £2 profit as people from a well-known Facebook page, says Jay Dennis. I don't know why you're referring to Jay Dennis, but certainly I would say you've got to value your time. If you're selling a single item, you've got to make sure that the profit is there for you to do the work. Like I said, we would not be selling, I would not buy one of these things. I would not buy one of these and sell, if someone said to me, hey, you can have this RC part for 50p, it's just one, I wouldn't buy it, because what am I going to get, a £5 for this? Am I going to sit and wait for this to sell for a £5 and have just one? No, I only did it because it came to me as a part of a job lot. It came to me as part of a massive bundle of stuff, and it was there, so it gets listed and it's going to sell. So that's it. Back off the mic a few inches. Oh my god, yeah, I'm a bit loud, aren't I? I didn't realise. God, I'm really sorry about the audio, guys. That should be better. I've lowered the volume on the mic, so when I'm shouting it shouldn't be too loud. You guys need to let me know when the audio is rubbish, guys, please. I do appreciate it, because sometimes I forget these things. Right, let me just get this shipping sorted. Okay, I've got an address where it's got an edit address. Okay. Google Translate. Okay. Okay. Right. Pay with PayPal. Your time is the same to make 100 or to make £2. The listing is the same. We have items that sell for £5, but we have 200 of them, says Jay Dennis. Exactly. Yeah. It's about valuing the time, isn't it? Really, Jay Dennis. And the thing is, you won't be there straight away. If you're new to this, you have to kind of figure. You kind of fumble your way through these things. You know, you don't straight away know all of this stuff or have the even if you know it all because the information's out there, you may not necessarily have the confidence at first to go in and do this stuff. This all happens, you know, it's like a time thing, guys. You do have to give yourself some time to arrive at what is the right business for you, and it's going to be different for everybody. You know, just because it works for one person, it doesn't mean it's going to work for the next person. It doesn't mean the next person's going to enjoy it. Some people are going to watch this and be like, actually, I prefer selling my like vintage one-off items. And they simply wouldn't want to deal with this kind of stock where it's just multiple quantities, and some people are just going to prefer to do one-off items. So for them, you know, it's not a suitable business model, because they just love the one-off items. But then for those guys, they're probably going to have to look at their profit per item that much more closely. Whereas I'm quite happy to sell stuff for a £5 with free shipping, because I'm not just selling one of it. You know, I've got tons of the same item, and I can build a sales history, blah 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 blah. So it works, you know, horses for courses, as they say, guys. Horses for courses. Stephen Bennett says picked up 10 HP ink yesterday for £2 and just sold one for 15 quid. Happy days. That does sound like a really good deal there, Stephen Bennett. I think you've made some good profit there. So yeah, I'm just gonna get this stuff all sorted now, guys. Right. Okay. I've got to remember which side the sticky strip on my envelopes is, because recently I've been sticking the label on the back side of the envelope, and it's really frustrating. And I've got to make sure that I'm removing my price tickets as well. So they've got a couple of 2-speed shafts, and these are going to Poland. I'm sure you'll be interested to know, so I'll share that info with you. £2.65 that's cost to ship, international, to Poland, and I charge like a £5, I think. So there we go. Next up is the tape. Okay. When I tell my mum later that I've spent my time watching a man pack his parcel, she's going to think I'm mad, says Money Mental. Just don't tell her. Okay. So next item. Ta-da. And it goes. Okay. I'm probably going to spend the rest of my day just playing Fortnite, so, you know, I'm not super productive, do you know what I mean? Not today. I'm going to chill out. Next item was 0565, which are these shock shafts. So I've got to remove the original stickers off of these. You know what, it's amazing, I've not actually gotten myself in trouble with sticker prices up till now. Hey George Ross has popped in. Thanks for popping in. We were just discussing the benefits of multi-quantity listings and the discounts and the good till cancelled, and I've just stopped now to, well, I've just finished talking about that, and I'm just finishing off my shipping, George, but thanks for popping in. So 3 of these shock shafts, and these are going to name there, which I've got. I've always got to be careful not to read out customer names, you know. Always got to be careful about that. Okay, loving this multi-quantity, so 3 of those into the envelope. Look at that, just like a well-oiled machine, this, isn't it? And then the rest of the day, I'm pretty sure it's going to be some Fortnite, I think. Dave says I'm supposed to be making videos. Make videos then, Dave. No one is stopping you but yourself. If you want to do it, just get on and do it. It's not easy, but once you start, you will be absolutely fine, honestly. It's just a case of starting. It really is. I love sharing screws with you guys. £5.40 for those there. They look like nice screw. They're actually screw rods, not screws, but there we go. By a company called Sen. Okay. The only job you can do, says Dave. What's that? Packing. Okay, next is... Okay. Was it Pete's Retro Collectible that asked about helicopter parts earlier in the chat? Let me just go back and see if I can find it. I'm not sure. Let me know. I think it was Pete's Retro Collectibles that mentioned buying a radio controlled helicopter. But if it had something like this, that's a brushless motor from a radio control helicopter that I split up. And that has sold for £15. So just to give you an example, this is from quite a small helicopter, what are known as 200 size, because they come in different classes. So you get 200 size, which are quite small, 250, 300, 400, and there you go. Yeah, it was Pete's Retro Collectible. So check out if it's got a motor. You can tell if it's brushless or not by the amount of wires coming out of it. A brushless motor will have 3 wires coming from it. If it's got 3 wires, it will be a brushless motor, and you'll be able to get okay money. I mean, that was 15 quid. Some of them will be worth a lot more. Right. Jay Dennis says, why not do your own screw sets? Again, is it worth it? I don't know if it's worth it because the profits are small. This was all done for me. We bought these in bulk, already made. You know, again, it's not necessarily worth it for us to go out and create sets ourselves. I've seen other sellers do the same thing, where what they do is they do it a lot with bearings. So radio control cars often come with bearings in them, so bearings in the hubs, bearings in the transmission cases. So what sometimes people will do, especially for vintage radio control cars, like older ones, they'll measure the bearings that would have originally come with them, and they'll go out and source the bearings for cheap and create sets and sell them. But the amount of work involved for the amount of return on investment and time, personally, I can't see it. I just don't see the value. I just don't see the value, so I don't do it. The thought has crossed my mind, but it didn't cross it for very long, put it that way. I mean, we both talked about it, just wasn't there for us. Money Mental says, hope you're feeling better now, George. Looking forward to the video. And George says, editing yesterday's footage at the moment, then got to film second half tonight. Should be out tonight or tomorrow morning, says George. Guys, for those of you that don't know, oh god, there's a tractor coming down our road, and I can't believe there's a tractor coming down our road for starters, but the dog will go ape. I really cannot, I really can't. There's nothing I can do about this. If he sees a tractor, I can't calm him down. We're done. We're done. Oh gosh. Having a quick look at that helicopter, Pete, I would probably say you're better off just flipping it as you can, as it is, because it's definitely not what I would call like a hobby grade helicopter. It's like yeah, I mean, I would say just try to sell it as you can. The parts are probably not going to be very readily available, etc. I mean, it's not. I mean, you could try, but I don't know that. I can see it was originally sold on Mankind. E-model sell them, T40C. I would probably just want to sell that as it is rather than part it out. I don't think there'll be much value in parting it out. Yeah, I'm not sure there would be a great deal of value. Although it might be worth checking out the transmitter, seeing what model number it is, seeing whether the people are selling spares for it. Go on to eBay, search for it, and see if people are selling any spares for it. If they are selling some spares, if there's a market for it, you could do that. But if I'm honest with you, I'd probably want to just flip that one. And George Ross says, almost there now, mate. Just a warning on the video as I'm bunged up when I'm talking. And M Mass says, hello Z. Hi M Mass, thanks for popping in. A ruffle copter, says Dave. I did a live on 3 hours sleep today, says Money Mental. The things we do to keep our audience happy. Yeah, you just do it because you enjoy it, man. Do it because you enjoy it. All right, Alf, for God's sake. I don't know if you can hear Alf or not, but he's growling. He's not happy that there's a tractor. Of all the roads for a tractor to come down, I'm really surprised. You know, this is not like a tractor kind of a road. They don't come round often at all. That's like the first one I've seen. Servo Saver for £7. There you go. That's by Schumacher, actually. That's quite a good brand of RC to look out for. Schumacher, they do a lot of good racing RC stuff. They're like quite a good brand to look out for. Next item. Okay. Massive gear. Hobby Pro is like not a brand that I'm aware of. Hope that is 120. I'm pretty sure it's about 125. Okay. Jay Dennis says, okay, my missus buys and restores motorbikes. I have done really good buying screws in bags of 100 for a couple of quid and selling them for 4 or 5 singles in a pack for a £5. You just have to say which model and what they're for. Wow, Jay Dennis. Yeah, I'm sure it's worth it. Do they do yeah, there are sellers that do that with RC as well. Them blood. George, honestly, our dog has some issue with tractors. If he sees a tractor, he literally will lose his mind. There's no other way to describe it. He will just straight up lose his mind. He tries to chase after them. I'm not quite sure what he feels he would accomplish if he actually got hold of the tractor. I'd be interested to see what he feels he would accomplish. I really would be, because I'm not sure what he would accomplish, because they're obviously quite big. He's quite a small dog, but he goes mad, absolutely mad for them. Oh gosh, I hope that's not too heavy. I've got to weigh these. Some of these I'm going to have to weigh. How is he with cats? He loves our cat. Our cat doesn't love him. He's tried to make friends with our cat many times. And he normally just ends up with like a claw in his nose, and she hisses at him and runs away. She's not having any of it. She's like, no, I don't want to know you. I don't care if you're a nice guy. Just, yeah, we're not friends. It's like that Marshmello Anne Marie song, you know, where they're not even friends. They're not even just friends. They're like nothing. But yeah, he's a lovely dog though. He really is. He's amazing. But yeah, he loves cats. The cat doesn't love him. He doesn't like tractors. Right, so that is my shipping sorted, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it a day on the stream. We've been streaming for nearly an hour. I hope you found the content useful. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up. If you've got any comments, questions, leave them in the comment section. I hope you found the video useful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.